Mm. So well said. I think, that redefining is really important. And the next step of, like you said, conservation and what happens. Just want to adjust this really quickly. And then I have either one or two more questions left.
Okay. Was it okay? I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
For this one, I guess if you can, you could keep like a little bit more concise if you want, but again, speak as much as you want. I'm curious what you would want people who maybe aren't in this space or weren't at this event to know, if you had a message for them.
I'm not good at giving advice or anything like that. What would I want people to know who are at this event? I want them to know that that the world is interconnected, but I think people know that. I feel like people know that with their brain, but they don't know it with their hearts, that we're all connected, right? And the health of one part will be dependent on the health of another, and the health of the entire system will depend on the health of its parts, right? So and each one of us are that part, right? So like a lot of times in the climate discussions, I see that carbon tunnel vision of like sticking to 1.5 degrees. I think it's important. But you can't just talk about that and just stick to that without thinking about other aspects, such as water. We talked a lot about water today. Like 97% of global water is in the ocean, 2% oceans, 2% are in ice, and only 1% is drinking liquid water. And 8 billion of us are billion humans, but so many other species are dependent on it, right? Every seed on planet Earth is unlocked with water. Every piece of fruit that we have is a result of that, of water interacting with other elements. We are 80% water. And when I hear about how much water is needed to process a ton of lithium, like about, 200,000 tons, I believe, that makes me really sad. That makes me really think, what are we doing? If lithium is going to be the ultimate answer to the climate crisis, and by these people who are in that carbon tunnel vision are really trying to fast track a lot of these mining projects globally, using up all that water, you're not thinking right, I'm sorry to say. Because without that water, we will not have the cooling system that is so much needed for the planet to sustain the ecosystems, to sustain that balance that we have or are losing at the moment. Or there are just so many elements, and like people are using people are thinking about easy solutions, easy techno fixes like carbon capture, or everything can be fixed just like that with a silver bullet, and in a technological way. It doesn't work. Like a lot of the conversations that we had in the caucus was about changing the consciousness, because this is the primary driver. The consciousness that we have today as peoples is the consciousness of taking, the consciousness of exploitation, extraction. But what we need to do collectively is to switch from that consciousness to regeneration and giving. You know, every person has to think like, what am I doing here on this planet Earth? It's such a short lifespan. Am I here to take, or am I here to give? What's my purpose here? And I think with that change in consciousness, we will be able to shift our global consciousness and like, okay, let's look at the things in a holistic manner. Let's think about water. Let's think about human rights. Let's think about justice. Let's center Indigenous people's sovereignty and self-determination and free, prior, informed consent. All these things cumulatively will be able to shift the paradigm that we have today. But I have to tell you, this paradigm will die sooner or later. I already seen the signs of it's, it's just grabbing for air and it's trying to fight. But there are more and more people are shifting to this new way of being, knowing and learning. And it's not new, actually. It's always been here. That way of being, knowing and learning, it is the way that the Indigenous people have lived since the time immemorial. My grandmother, she raised me. She was that person, and I'm so grateful I had her in my life. It's because of her I'm able to do this work. And when she had the excess of milk, sour cream, berries, she would always share it with other families. And other families would share their excess of meat, fish, and everything that they were able to gather in the forest. And at any given time, there was enough for everyone, of everything for everyone. That's the economy I hope we will go back to, because the most important thing for this kind of economy is the well-being of people, not the profit, right? So I remember those times. I was born into that. I remember that. And I want it back for everyone to experience how it feels to be taken care of by your community, and how to feel loved and appreciated and have enough of everything at any given time. So, and I think a lot of our conversations revolved around this. That's it.